Alrighty guys, Nvidia's numbers are in, which we're going to break them down in this video, of course, and we're going to go over the charts and the stock, which right now it is up big time after the bell. You guys can see if I come in here on the intraday chart, we can see Nvidia hit $745 after the bell, after closing at, let's see, $672 per share. So yeah, the stock is moving. It is currently up around 9%, and at one point it was up over 10.5% after the bell. So smash that like button, guys. Make sure to subscribe. We're trying to get the 50,000 subs this year, and let's just dive right into it. Let's break down these numbers and see what's going on. So let me see the headline numbers very quickly. Then we'll dive into the actual earnings release. So let's see here, guys. They ended up doing where is it? EPS adjusted of $5.16, which beat the $4.64 expected, and they also beat on sales, $22.1 billion versus $20.62 billion expected. So think about that, guys. Unbelievable, right? They beat EPS and they crushed revenue, and I think the estimate for revenue, if I'm not mistaken, on the higher end was $21.5 billion, and they just completely crushed that. Over $22 billion of revenue, and their guidance for this upcoming quarter for revenue, well, the quarter we're in, is $24 billion, which crushes the $22 billion that analysts were expecting. So yeah, talk about insanity here, guys, when it comes to the sheer fact that Nvidia just keeps crushing it. I don't want to say insanity like it's a bad thing, but man, it's just, when you think it's going to cool off a bit, it just keeps on going. This is just ridiculous. So let me show you here the earnings release. Let's pop this up and see what's going on. And if you guys want to access this, it's on Google, obviously. You type in NVIDIA Investor Relations, and this will pop up. So you guys can see NVIDIA announces financial results for fourth quarter and fiscal 2024. And let's come in here a little bit so we can see a little bit more in depth what's going on. So they recorded record quarterly revenue of $22.1 billion. Like we said, that was up 22% from Q3 alone, which is nuts, and up 265% from a year ago, which is just bonkers if you ask me, guys. And record quarterly data center revenue came in of $18.4 billion. That was up 27% from Q3 and up 409% from a year ago. Unreal. And geez, guys, record full year revenue of almost $61 billion, up 126% year over year. So yeah, they're crushing it, guys. And I mentioned the guidance for Q1 right now, the quarter we're in. I mean, that is ridiculous. $24 billion. It's only continuing to go up. And of course, at some point, we are going to see that cool off. But who the heck knows when that's going to happen? I have no idea. But, you know, it doesn't look like it's now. Let's just say that. It does not look like it's cooling off right now. So let's see here, guys. They reported GAAP earnings per diluted share, that was at $4.93, up 33% from last year, and up 33% from the previous quarter, up 765% from a year ago, which is just ridiculous. And non-GAAP earnings per share, we mentioned $5.16, up 28% from last quarter, up almost 500% from a year ago. And let me see here, guys. For fiscal 2024, we said revenue was up 126% to $60.9 billion. We mentioned that. GAAP earnings per diluted share was $11.93, up 586% from a year ago. You guys can see. And non-GAAP earnings per diluted share was $12.96, up 288% from a year ago. We can see here accelerated computing and generative AI have hit the tipping point. Demand is surging worldwide across companies, industries, and nations, according to the founder and CEO of Nvidia. And he said, our data center platform is powered by increasingly diverse drivers, demand for data processing, training, and inference from large cloud service providers and GPU specialized ones, as well as from enterprise software and consumer internet companies. Vertical industries led by auto, financial services, and healthcare are now at a multi-billion-dollar level. And Nvidia, you guys can see, will pay its next quarterly cash dividend of 4 cents per share on March 27th, which, guys, I mean, if you're making any substantial amount of money from this dividend, I mean, you must own hundreds of thousands of shares of Nvidia, which I don't know if anyone out there that's watching does, but the fact that they even pay a dividend is laughable to me, to be honest. What's the point? I mean, 4 cents on a $750 stock, that's like 2% or 0.02% or 0.01%, whatever the heck it is. But hey, if you own 1 million shares of Nvidia, you're doing pretty well on that dividend. But I don't know. But yeah, man, those are the highlights from their earnings and all these numbers you're seeing right here. We have, all the numbers lined out. We have, GAAP, right? Non-GAAP. You guys can see, revenue, gross margin, operating expenses compared to last year. Then we have the quarter over quarter, right? You guys see all those numbers, which, I mean, this video would be way too long if we talked about everything, but we can see, the breakdown here of the segments. We have the outlook here, which has some guidance. We can see some 2025, fiscal 2025 guidance as well. We can see the data center, gaming, professional visualization, which, by the way, that was up 105% from last year, $463 million of revenue for that segment. You have the automotive segment, which was up, or actually down 4% from a year ago, but that was only $281 million of revenue. Nobody really cares about that. That's such a small portion of the business, of the revenue. But yeah, where it counts, they're crushing it. Data center revenue, gaming revenue, really the data center revenue is going bananas, up 409% from a year ago, and who knows where it's going next. I mean, this company is doing almost 4 times the revenue of what they did a year ago. Think about it. Last quarter, or rather last year in the same quarter, I think they did about $6 billion of revenue, and now for the next quarter, for the one we're in, for Q1, they're projecting $24 billion. That's a 4X in revenue, which is just mind-blowing for a quarter. So what do you guys think about that? I mean, this is getting pretty nutty here. I'm personally not in Nvidia at this point. You guys probably already know that. I've mentioned that time and time again. And, I was considering gambling on it today, but I didn't. Full disclosure, I did not buy the shares. Now, with hindsight, the benefit of hindsight, I probably should have for a quick trade, but I didn't do it here, guys. And initially, the stock did fall. I'm not sure if you guys saw it, but when the numbers came out, we went down to 645, rebounded back to about 690, and clearly we're well over 700 now. So what do you guys think about Nvidia? Are you buying it right now? Are you selling it into the green here? Are you buying, or rather holding on? Let me know. And by the way, we're still wrestling with this resistance right now, which is a key point worth mentioning here as we wrap up the video. This was where we struggled over the last couple of weeks, really just the past 2 weeks, not even 10 days, really, 745. So that point needs to break. If we do get out of there tomorrow, who knows where momentum could take this thing, considering this is arguably an ascending triangle, right? So what do you guys think about Nvidia? Let me know your thoughts down below in the comments. Hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe. We're trying to get the 50,000 subs this year. And if you guys want some free stocks for Moo, hey, why not? Up to 15 stocks, each up to $2,000. Use that link down below or go to stocksurfs.com/Moo. Fund your account at least $100. You get 5 stocks, and fund it with at least $1,000. You get 10 more stocks, totaling 15 stocks, and each of those could be valued up to $2,000, and you get a bunch of other perks by using that link down below. So guys, get on it, use that link, and I'll catch you all later.